Freedom is the right of all sentient beings.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
It's 3 a.m. and the sirens are going off. Another rocket attack. I've got my boots and got my ammo in my 50-pound sack. A 100 boys headed to war in this world unknown. The only peace of mind I've got are these letters from home. Another day has come and gone. Another night I'm all alone. I didn't think I'd be this far out here in Kandahar. Well, most of us, we made it home, but we never came back. When we close our eyes at night, we hear a rocket attack. I've tried to talk and tell you about it, but it ain't the same. All these thoughts that run through my head, well, they can't be tamed. Another day has come and gone. Another night I'm all alone. I didn't think I'd be this far out here in Kandahar. Another day has come and gone. Another night I'm all alone. I didn't think I'd be this far out here. We ain't far from Kandahar.
get to see.
WTF Nation Radio.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Do you ever have one of those moments where you think, how the hell did I get here? Jeez, what happened to me? I was ruling the galaxy, had a cherry new battle station. I mean, this place had an omelet bar, a straight-up omelet bar. And now look, my former interns tossing me down a bottomless freaking pit. You know, come to think of it, my whole life has been a series of what the f moments. That was my out.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I looked my woman in the eye sockets. I told her straight out. I just said it, man. I said it. I said, bitch, I'm the man of the house.
You said bitch, though. You called your wife a bitch.
Yeah.
Let's roll.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
It's Monday. Break them off some. That's right. Broadcasting live from the Functional Veterans Center of Excellence this 11 May 2020. Man, with my gunner in the turret flash.
What's going
on, man? That's not flash. That's like a spanky thing. I don't say flash. You just say with a in the gunner seat flash. Just say it like that. Flash. Say spanky because I'm. Anyways, welcome to WTF Nation Radio's Monday edition. Ice and Flash are your hosts tonight. Man, what
every Monday.
Yeah, it's every Monday. That's right. You know, today's I posted up. It's a very unique anniversary today. Today, on this date, we, the WTF Nation, and as a matter of fact, I'll just bring it up right now because everybody's gonna, it's like, oh, what do you mean? What happened? And on U.S. Army WTF Moments 5 years ago today, and we were all reminded about it because we had a good chuckle. We had an incident on the main page, and it was like literally right. I was a few minutes in. I would say I was some time in the main page admin, as an admin. Right before I came on to be part of WTF Nation Radio, the Islamic State hacked us. They literally hacked us, and we were just like, what? Yeah, the ISIS, they hacked us. I remember the day. It was pretty funny. I was just assuming the roles as IO chief, I guess you would say, the as admin stuff, doing the admins and the adminning. And the next thing you know, I'm looking at my feeds and I'm seeing a bunch of squiggles and squirrels and stuff like that, and weird looking stuff on my feed. I'm like, what the hell is this? What's going on here? What's up? And the next thing you know, we had we had an incident. We had an incident. We were hacked. The Islamic State, Daesh, whatever you want to call them, jumped in and decided, Daesh, those Islamic jihadists trying to mess us up. It didn't work. At any rate, we had we had fun because the individuals we were counter hacking back, and they got pretty butthurt because we were counter hacking back, and we had asked the WTF Nation at the time to piss them off because they were trying to go back and forth on our page. We have a screenshot. We have excerpts of the exchange going back and forth, and of course we had everybody like, what the hell's going on? So I'm going to post right quick, and I'm going to show you exactly what happened on when the Islamic State tried to manhandle the main page. So there's a couple. There's right there. You can see right. Yep. Looks like there's a bunch of squiggles on there. Let's zoom in a little quick. And there it was. There was their little there was their little flag. They threw it on there and all that, and we're like, what the hell's going on? So immediately, of course, our fans doing what they do best, backing us up, backing all America. we said like, hey, let's go ahead and let's drop them dimes. Let's do it. It was a meme fest. It was a proverbial meme fest. A meme love whatsoever. Now, of course, our haters are out there, shit talking us and all this other crap. You know, because we do have some haters out there. Go figure. Talking about how we are on the page and all that. You know, we're not liked by everybody. I don't give a shit. But there were some individuals that were like literally fucking just like, ha ha ha, that's what you get. So there's all these individuals right here that were like that were part of the crew to help take down ISIS that had control of our page. I mean not control, but they had, you know, we were able to find out what was up, and then you could definitely see all the drama and all that. I'll honestly say that kind of, I don't want to say scared us, because there's for a minute there we had some individuals that, you know, could have been compromised. Like there could have been some serious implications of individuals finding out who they are and stuff like that. Which was funny as shit. I'll be honest with you. But this happened today. Well, one of another page, the Dysfunctional Veteran Crew. They were getting their inboxes filled, I guess, and they were getting blown up pretty good. Mind you, this was 5 years ago. This was 2015, May 11th, and so it's all good now. Everything's good to go. But they literally were like, stop it. They were like, shut up, stop filling my inbox. Stop. We're trolling you guys. Now, we'll ask you, we did not troll anybody. We literally had an infiltrator in our ranks coming in and messing with our shit. I honestly, it was exactly that. It was all back in the day when you only had one React Spanky. You either liked it or nothing. It was before you had the whole emoji rack of I think it was like thumb. What was it? Thumb, smile, and an angry or something like that, right? I know that was there. They did a bad job. They did. They did a really bad job. So anyway, so that was the anniversary of our hacking or our infiltration of our page. Needless to say, we don't know what the squiggle said. We were just kind of like laughing. Because we were just like, what the hell's going on? Why is there, you know, who's messing with their page? And luckily that, you know, they were able to. This was only for lasted about maybe an hour, if that. So for an hour, your information might have been compromised. Do you have to do it like OPM? You know how OPM has to send a letter out? Your information might have been compromised to blah 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 blah.
I got one of those not so long ago.
Yeah. So
I was a little pissed off.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly that. That was back when. So it was what they call a soft hack attack. We had symptoms. We had systems. We had symptoms. We had the COVIDs. We had Facebook COVIDs. We had systems in place to be able to ensure that doesn't happen again. But I just thought it was funny. It came up. I just remember that brought back some of them. Brought back some memories, and then of course getting phone calls and everybody talking about, oh, WTF almost got hacked, and you know, of course everyone's like, good, fuck them, fuck them, yeah, whatever, they hate vets, you know. But okay, fine. But other than that, it was a very unique anniversary. One of those things that you're just kind of like, oh man, dude, that was fucking hilarious. That was funny. 2015, dude, May 11, 2015. That's. Bro,
things seem a lot simpler.
Yeah.
2015.
2015, dude. It's like, damn, 2015. That's like a, yeah, exactly. It was like
Life was less crazy back then.
Well, no, it just seemed like it. I don't know. Look at the dynamic between now and how it was, you know, 2015. It was a few years back.
Now, probably the same people that hacked us are probably worm food at this point.
I hope they are. ISIS can eat it.
Don't touch WTF. Expect to live.
That was back. Yeah, that was back when CSM wore high heels. Is that what you're saying? No, that was. Yeah, don't get me started on Frick. We're gonna have a complete CSM. I think we're gonna rip on some CSMs this Thursday, Spanky. So, pay attention. Anybody that's in the organization of First Cav, the SFAB, who else? There's some like First ID. Well, I think there's some. Yeah, just give me some precursors. Oh no, wait, no. Thursday we can't. Thursday we have General Beagle and Command Sergeant Major Gann coming on from Fort Jackson. So there will be no thrashing at that time yet. We'll probably do it later. But Yeah, so anyway, no, I'm just thinking about how things change now from how 2015. And you look at the stuff, I mean, we look back and we can go through and archive the posts and all that. There were some gourmet memes in that shit, man. There were some fresh gourmet memes that came out of that. And I think the meme page was in there farming for some Mo Betta memes, because there were some good ones. I mean, there's some controversial ones that, you know how people say Facebook, Facebook banned me because I shared something from Facebook, even though it came from Facebook. That's exactly what it was. It looks like you could grab some of those memes there, and you'll probably get in trouble for sharing them because they were already on, Facebook. But anyways, all right. Do we gotta get to the bad news now? Fuck.
What's the bad news? I mean, it's 2020. Everything's really bad.
I was about to say,
so.
dude. Well, first off, let's get it over with. Jerry Stiller, man. Let's God, dude.
That was kind of a shock. I mean, and don't forget, Little Richard died.
Yeah, Little Richard died.
It's been like the last 2 days. Now everyone protect fucking Betty White.
Right, exactly.
Everybody
put up the bubble.
No.
Put up the bubble now. But yeah,
it's pretty shocking. I mean, Little Richard, who was one of the founders of what we call rock and roll, and Jerry Stiller, who's had a film career, father of Ben Stiller, since 1957. That was when he was on The Big Story, a TV series.
Right.
And then, I mean, he's had quite the career. You might know him from Costanza's dad in Seinfeld, or from Zoolander, or King of Queens. And,
yeah, dude.
He was in Hairspray. He was in Anchorman.
He was just
Zoolander 2.
He was a veteran in the U.S. military. Everybody knows that he's Ben Stiller's dad. He died at the age of 92. Best known, of course, he also, like you said, he got all those awards. He got some Emmys and stuff like that for playing those roles. His time on the Jerry Seinfeld sitcom was how everyone knew him the most. Being, you know what I mean? That's where everyone really saw who he was. His death was announced by Ben Stiller, who tweeted today that I'm sad to say that my father, Jerry Stiller, passed away from natural causes. He was a great dad, great and a grandfather, and the most dedicated husband to Anne for about 62 years. He will be greatly missed. Love you, Dad. So the elder Stiller's role in the Festivus, George Steinbrenner hating. That's why he got a lot of notoriety on Seinfeld, because he hated George Steinbrenner. And if you're
he was a Mets fan.
Silver dollar hoarding father George Costanza revived his career at age 66, giving him the Emmy Award in 1997, the 1998 Comedy Award. After Seinfeld, that's when, of course, he was on King of Queens. And born in 1927, eldest of 4 children, impoverished Polish Jewish household, found his committee job as a child, eager to keep the peace and distract his parents from fighting. As an actor known for inhabiting bombastic curmudgeons, later he admitted, "I stole all their material." After a stint in the Army, he was a veteran. Towards the end of World War II, Stiller used the GI Bill to earn a bachelor's degree in speech and drama from the University of Syracuse. He said that career didn't take off until he teamed with his wife, the late actress Anne Mara, who died in 2015. He says they were both struggling nobodies. They married, and now famous for poking fun of their oddball marriage on the Ed Sullivan Show. God, he's just like that's like icon. He's 92 years old. 92 years old.
I mean, he was active for the long. I mean, his last movie was in 2016, Zoolander Supermodel, which was a TV movie, and then he even was on his own. Archive footage. Is Entertainment Tonight, but 2019, he played himself in a too many things open at the same time. In Kay Ballard, The Show Goes On. That was 2019. So I mean, he kept going and going and going for the longest time. I mean, the man was Hollywood. The man, it's sad to see, sad to see him go.
Yeah.
But I mean, he had quite the life to hang his hat on. So Ben Stiller's proud of his dad.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good life to have. That's 92 years old is a hefty. I don't know. Is that a good age? I mean, what is considered dying? You know what I mean? What's considered old age? Because now, you know, you've had I mean, again, it's just one of those, you grow old with your spouse type thing. You know, you have a long life. I don't know. It's just you start looking at that stuff like that. Little Richard, dude, come on. It was crazy. I just imagine that living that long and then having now all natural causes. That's both cases, both events were natural causes. I don't want anybody to say, and I'm pretty sure someone's going to say Corona did it. Everyone's going to talk shit. But I don't really, like I said, I don't know, man. I don't want to. Do you want to? I mean, do you want to be an old age? I mean, I know we're talking about. I know it's kind of grim to be talking about that, but I mean, you just kind of think about stuff like that.
I have contemplated that in a non emo sense. But
right.
I don't know. A part of me likes, if I can hit like 80, I'm good, because I'm not going to see the next century. That would be like, I'd have to be like 115, and Of course, there are some old folks that, they're like 110 and they're still like, man, I just don't have sex with men and I drink Dr. Pepper every day. Like,
exactly.
Oh, yeah, girl.
Yeah.
There's some people that make it to 70 and they can barely move and can't take care of themselves.
Right.
So it's kind of like, it depends. Like, I think as I'm getting older, because I think my wife and I were talking about something that the will to live is a huge part of being alive. And some people sometimes, especially older folks, that's why they say people that retire and actually like retire tend to die sooner than people who keep working and stuff, because, just have that will to keep going and that purpose. I think like, if I'm 80 and I'm still like rocking, I think I'm going to just like, hell yeah, let's taking this train to 115. Let's see the century. Yeah. We'll see what happens. I mean, life is crazy. I can get killed. I can get killed tomorrow by choking on coffee during a meeting. Or I could survive a fucking bomb and be good to go, and still be kicking it to like 100 with a piece of shrapnel in my freaking skull.
Right.
Life is neither fair nor does it actually. Is it fair or does it go by some rhyme or reason? Depending on what your theological philosophy is. For me, hey, I don't concern myself with stuff that's out of my control, because the big man's got me covered.
Right.
And if he tells me it's my time to go, well, shit, I won't know, because either I'm going to be dead and hopefully going up to heaven, or I'll just be dead and won't know anything because my conscience won't exist, and it'd just be like turning off the TV.
Yeah.
That really.
I was about to say, dude, you like, yeah, man. It's just like, wow. It's just, wow. It's, I don't know.
I mean, we're talking about, we just passed 80,000 deaths in the U.S. from coronavirus.
From the COVIDs, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure none of these people, I'm sure there were some healthy people who thought I'm going to live to be 100.
Right.
And then they caught this fucking random ass virus that just came over, and all of a sudden now they're not.
Right. The
it's so
the story
live life.
Yeah, the story. So it was natural causes with Jerry Stiller, but then Little Richard, he was fighting bone cancer, and he died at the age of 87.
Born in 1932.
Yeah, and he
known as the architect of rock and roll.
Yeah,
him
dude.
And Chuck Berry.
Yeah, dude, straight up.
You thank them.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
got all that thrash metal and heavy metal. It all came from those guys rocking and rolling.
Died of bone cancer.
Macon, Georgia, too.
Yeah.
Born December 5th, 1932.
Yep. Yeah, inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1986. I mean, just that's it. If you guys remember, I kind of posted a video up on my timeline of everybody knows the song. Everybody remembers the movie Predator, and they're all infiltrating in the black helicopters in the Central American jungle, and they're playing Little Richard in the freaking Jesse Ventura is playing Little Richard's song.
Little Richard was also in The Last Action Hero. He was the soundtrack of Predators. He was part of the soundtrack of Roadhouse.
Yep. Roadhouse. But yeah, dude, it's like it's.
I can't say Roadhouse without thinking of Peter
Griffin. Yeah, exactly. Roadhouse. Yeah, dude. So he. I mean, that's like the life you. At what age is that? Because some people like my grandfather. I always knew how old my grandfather was because we just subtracted. Subtracted a year from the current year. That's how old my grandfather was. So in 1997 when he died, Yeah, so he was like old as hell. So, but still, he had a freaking vibrant life. I mean, he was just a whole life. So it's just like at that point, you just start getting to the point where, okay, I'm gonna be shitting myself. Am I gonna be able to contain my facilities and my faculties, and am I gonna be able to think right? I mean, because if you're sharp as a tack, you start going out. You just want to say, "Fuck, I'm tired. I'm done." Because for somebody at that age, fading out could be just like that, just fading out. But God, it's just. He was born Charles. His name was born. What was his name? Penniman. His last name was Penniman. Yeah, dude. So yeah, it's like saying it's pretty freaking. It's insane. And so everyone's exactly that. Just what's Betty White's new objective? Survive.
She was old when she was in Golden Girls.
I was about to say.
Betty White's what, 99?
I'm about to say I don't know. I don't even know how old she is. I don't want to. Go ahead.
And you Google.
Yeah, good. Initiate Google search. See how old she is.
I mean, she just had a birthday in January. Damn, she was born January 17, 1922.
Yeah.
I don't know how old that makes her.
That's like I said.
She's 98.
I was about to say she's 98.
She's fucking 98
years old.
Holy crap.
Would you still take her would you take her on a date?
It's Betty White. I mean, hell yeah.
Hell yeah, I would too.
I mean, I mean, I'd be a little awkward if she tried frisking me, but
you'd give her some sugar. Come on.
I mean, so she was in, she was a voice in Toy Story 4 just last year. She actually did 3 things in 2019. I mean, if you look at it, she was in SpongeBob SquarePants for an episode.
Right.
And a voice. I mean, if you look back of all she was in WWE Raw in 2014. I mean, I'm just like kind of looking back and
let's not look back because she's not
13,
she's
12,
not dead.
11, 10, she's still there. She's
still there. She's still here.
Her first acting gig was in 1945 in A Time to Kill.
Yes, that's right.
Short. That's not the long, the long one with Matthew McConaughey
But she's okay. She's okay. So don't.
She's doing good.
She's doing good.
Betty White's gonna live forever.
Yeah, she's not doing. Let's start thinking.
She had her own show, the Betty White Show, from 1977 to 1978.
Right, dude. Yeah. So
she's having such a long fucking career.
Right. So little Richard.
But she's still got her faculties. Like she's still.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
If I'm like Betty White at 98, I'm good to go.
See, that's what I'm saying.
I'll be cool with that.
If you're that sharp as a tack when you're that age, you know what I mean? It's kind of fun. I would go into like biomedical research though to get like new AI stuff. You know, if someone says, hey, we have this new advanced technology here where we can advance and use artificial intelligence to change a limb out or move something or inject some type of
I thought you were going to talk about Amazon Prime's new TV show called Upload.
No, dude.
I do want. If you haven't seen that, it's made by the same guy who made The Office and Parks and Rec. It's actually a pretty cool concept. That honestly, like I looked at my wife and she doesn't like either The Office or Parks and Rec. She doesn't like the whole like talking to the camera type thing, which is fine. That means more fun for me. This isn't like that at all. But I told her by the same person, and I showed her just the trailer for it, and the premise is pretty much. If you know you're going to die, you can actually upload your consciousness into a virtual reality afterlife, which I kind of looked at her and said, I wonder how God plays into that. Like, does he go, no, fucker, you stay.
You know,
you're coming with us, but I know it. I'm sure.
Have you seen? Okay, is it? Are we? You guys in the audience? You guys also in all your other chats too, in the Mixer, Facebooks, YouTube chats, and all that.
We love you.
Are we? Are we past the Picard thing? Can we talk about Picard? Or did CQ already talk about Picard? Is CQ going to come off the top rope if I start talking about Picard? It's just, because I think that was. I mean, it's been a while already. If you've not seen it already, that was the premise of Picard. Picard was there was a different take on synthetic humans, data. And transferring consciousness into a new body, into a cybernetic, positronic matrix. So it's kind of like that. That's why I think cloning scares people.
Like that, except it's instead of going into like another body to live in like the real world, you're like imagine uploading your consciousness into World of Warcraft or some shit like that. Like it now they have service technician people, so you're almost like living in a computer game type of thing, and they have people that actually interact with you from the real world through this, the medium of communicate. And I looked at first time I saw it, I was like, that's stupid, and then I watched it, I was like, okay, that's actually that's interesting on more than one level. One, because I'm like, we're only 20 years from that. I honestly could see us being 20 years of the way technology is leaps and bounds forward. How hard would it be to almost download your consciousness onto something, let alone into giant a country's worth of servers.
No way, dude. Well, we
to live your afterlife. But what happens if somebody puts a magnet on the servers and all of a sudden you're gone there too?
Dude, like somebody hacked like the main page or something like that, like ISIS.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, but I'm gonna drop an article to you right now, Flash. And if you can remember, there was a woman that had her child's virtual likeness. Her avatar was in an AI environment, and it was her dead child. I'm thinking, and it was her mother's. It was a mother's.
And she can. Oh, look at that!
Yeah,
she can
interact. Yeah, she was interacting with a child.
A South Korean mother has been met by a digital version of her dead daughter after her body, voice, and face was recreated using virtual reality technology. Let's see how long ago. No, this is from February.
Yeah.
So you're using the whole Oculus and the gloves and stuff like that. A TV documentary shows the meeting of Zhang Jing-sung, a mother of 4, with a virtual version of her deceased daughter. Sad. I don't want to butcher. I'm just going to say the daughter. According to Korean newspaper Aju Business Daily. The virtual reunion came after the daughter, Miss Zhang's third child, passed away in 2016. The digital avatar was created using images collected from the child, from a child model, and from pictures of the daughter. The encounter was filmed as part of the Korean show's Meeting You broadcast on the Moonhwa Broadcast Corporation. I'm sure I messed that up. It's Korean. I'm not that good. The show is designed to give relatives who are grieving the loss of a loved one a chance to say goodbye to a virtual version of the child of the lost family member. Wearing virtual reality headset, Ms. Zhang was able to hear a digital version of their child's voice and even experience a sense of touching using virtual reality gloves. Everyone see Ready Player One?
Yeah, well,
did you ever see that?
No.
Great book. Read the fucking book. It's amazing.
Well,
and it's not one of those. Oh, the book's better than the movie.
Right.
It's really good too. But the gloves, they kind of look like the gloves from Ready Player One.
Well, but think about it though.
They met in a virtual park.
Right, but look at. I got the picture. I got the picture up right now of the mother grieving with her or saying goodbye to her digital, a digital version of her daughter. This is kind of insane because that's
crazy.
There is the argument.
Crazy in a good way, I guess.
Well, yeah. I mean, is it to provide closure? I mean, to me, I just think I don't know if it's borderline torture because you're a clone. Everyone fears cloning because they don't want another version of somebody. You know what I mean? They don't want a different version.
6th day.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Because a clone, if you can, like there was a couple comments in the chat about Picard. If you could transfer your memories and consciousness and your likeness, your own self, your own self-awareness into another body, I don't think anybody would have an issue with that.
Just thinking of the 6th day, and that since I mentioned it, I didn't mean to, but like that movie was undercover awesome for the sheer fact that, especially now in 2020, I think it's because the premise that Arnold Schwarzenegger's character thinks he's not the clone and the person in his house is the clone,
right?
But the main protagonist we follow is actually the clone of the person who he thought was
a clone. Right, exactly.
And it's like what is real and what is not.
It was like Total Recall. Get your ass to Mars. Get your ass,
it's pretty like.
What am I doing here?
We look at these movies that like stuff like The 6th Day and shows like Upload, and I go, man, we are so close to this type of technology and these type of of problems. This also reminds me. It's gonna nerd out because I've been doing that recently. In the first Harry Potter book, yes, there is the mirror that Harry Potter stares at, and it's supposed to show you, your deepest desires. And at one point, he keeps going back to this mirror and just staring at it for hours. I have a feeling, and the headmaster comes and pretty much like, look, you can't do that because you'll ruin your whole life just staring at this mirror instead of being out there. I could see this being great if it's just a one-time thing,
right?
Like, knock on everything, blessed and holy. If anything was to happen to my little ones and I wasn't there, say I was in Korea or something, and I never got a chance to say goodbye or anything like that, I won't lie, I would totally do this.
You would? You would do the AI stuff?
If I could at least just see my son and say goodbye to him one more time. See, I'm about to start crying. Holy shit.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I hear you, man. I'm the same way, bro. I read this article. My God.
I would totally do it, but I would make sure that it could only happen once, because I think that this is. I mean, it's like cocaine. It's like you do it more than once, and you're already in danger after that one time of being kind of hooked.
Right.
I think that if I went to see I think I would just. You'd find me dead with the virtual reality thing on, because I wouldn't want to stop seeing it. So if it was a one-time thing, like if I knew I could only do it one time, I would definitely do it, and I could understand why this mother did it. But I could also see this just a fucking deep rabbit hole that you slip down.
Oh my God! Because then what else? Because then you're gonna want to try to find. You want to have closure with another relative, or you want to have closure with another. You know what I mean? To me, it's like a mental torture thing. It's like you said, it has to be once. It have to be once. It have to be
a fucking weird show.
Yeah, dude. No. It's just funny you say it, because I follow Peter, Singer on freaking PW Singer and August Cole on Twitter, and they're doing this book. It's called and they're all about the kind of work that I used to do and all stuff, doing social media exploitation and all that. They get involved in artificial intelligence and robotic in this book, and the book is called Burn In. And as soon as I got the book, it's pre-order. It's not released until the 26th of May. But when it comes out, I'm going to read it, and I'm going to freaking bring these guys on the show, because this is, I think it's going to be awesome, because it just talk about, I mean, you think about some of the parallels. It's like the description of the book is like America is on the brink of revolution. One in technological and political. Science fiction of AI and robotics has come true. Millions are angry but fearful that the future has left them behind. And then after narrowly stopping a bombing in Washington, D.C. Union Station, an FBI agent receives a new assignment to field test a police robot. Now, if you watch there's a lot of Netflix movies about robotics and all that, and I'm telling you what, it's just kind of.
iRobot was a good one.
Yeah, well, iRobot's a classic. But it's just that whole genre, that whole thing of the what ifs of our technology. Look at the deep fake videos that you see out there now. Now there is, I did one and I posted it on Twitter, and everyone freaked out because I posted a video of someone else's face on someone else saying with another voice. And I did that.
Hell, we've been using virtual reality and holograms. Hell, like in Star Wars.
Yeah, I was about to say Rogue One. Yeah,
bring back Carrie Fisher, who died in 2016. Thanks to holograms, dead musicians like Whitney Houston, Tupac Shakur, Michael Jackson have all been brought back in a sense for stage shows. I mean, it's such a weird fucking time.
Ooh, David's got a good point.
I'm gonna keep referencing movies. It reminds me of if you watch Frozen 2, where Olaf was like that technology is also our savior and our doom.
That's what David just said. It's like the doctor in Star Trek Voyager, the emergency holographic mode, the EMH, the emergency medical hologram. He pops up and he goes, "Please state the nature of your medical emergency." And he's out there already. And throughout the series, he wants to know more. He wants to have a being. He wants to grow. He wants to have. I mean, there were several of those ethical paradoxes in Star Trek when it came to Moriarty wanting to have, when he had consciousness in the holodeck, and then when Tuvix, when he was melded together as a combined species during a freaking transport accident, and then the Doctor when he wants to grow, and it's that whole exploration of the thought process in itself of something like that becoming sentient, and then putting it in a program, and then assuming the role of your dead child. You have then what? Then what if your kid? What if that AI does a study on you? What if that AI figures out? Wait a minute, you're damn. Well, oh no, I hate you, Dad. What if it goes into your history? What if that AI looks at your life decisions in its interaction and realizes that
you're an asshole.
Because every time there's
You are my son.
Yeah, exactly. You really are my son. But think about it though. If you have that type of conflict within the conflict, you bring yourself to the dock. See, now we're totally getting fucking movie quotes and stuff. But you get to that type of that parallel ethical problem solving of then that AI is going to go look into you. Every single study when it comes to AI has always concluded with the AI wanting to destroy humans. AI has already established.
Yeah, why is that? Why can't we get AI to not try to fucking kill us?
Well,
try that. Okay, well here's a question for you because I had to answer this harsh question. Going off the premise of upload, if we got to that technology, and it's for people, it's not like they can zap your brain, like it's almost like because like they show the very beginning, the guy apparently got like shot or stabbed like a shit ton of times in his chest, and we can either take him to the OR or we can take him to upload. And I guess they choose to take him to upload, even though it's supposed to be a funny show. There's always some funny bits to it, but it's kind of weird, serious. If presented the opportunity, would you upload? Would you prefer to just go to whatever theological or non-theological ending, or would you prefer to upload with that premise of that show to a virtual reality consciousness?
Well, looking back at some of my own personal near-death experiences, I would go upload.
Really?
I would. The reason why is that because I'd want to go upload on like you said about that closure, and I tell everybody, hey, come on, all right, everyone, let's gather around. It'd be like my virtual funeral. So everybody who wants to come to my virtual funeral would show up. And I'd be like on this big wall or something like that. And then people would be showing up. There'd be some upset people. And then I'd be like, I hate you. I hate you. No, you. I want you. You know, so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. Yeah.
Your sister.
I hate you. Yeah, I hate you. Yeah, exactly that. I hate you too. You're a shit talker. I got all the screenshots of you talking shit. Whatever. That would be the time. That's what I would do. I mean, provide some sort of closure with some family and stuff like that. Because like you were just saying. So
you would make it a short-term thing.
Yeah. I would make it a short-term because if you watch the new Picard, it's the same thing too. That whole premise is that Data's consciousness is still alive, and in Picard, in the TV show Picard, he's like, dude, I just want to fucking go. I just want, the whole idea for me to have been human was for me to die. Star Trek Nemesis, he kills himself to save Picard on the Romulan ship. Well, that right there, that realizing that his consciousness did survive. He did survive. And so he was like expecting to die. He didn't expect to live. And so that the end of the Picard series, Data is finally deactivated or whatever, and yeah, it's just one of those things to where that would be just showing up exactly that recruit times. Just show up, just say, hey, welcome to welcome to the AMC Theater's presentation and funeral of Ken Ramos.
Hey everybody, fuck you guys.
Exactly.
But it's great. Like as a God-fearing man myself, I'm conflicted because the idea that say, tomorrow, I'm only in my mid 30s. I'm still pretty damn young. All of a sudden, some guy in my in my neighbor's backyard is fucking with his gun, shoot, and it comes through, and all of a sudden I'm shot and I'm bleeding out and taken to the hospital. Like, look, you probably ain't gonna survive this. Here's your opportunity. I'm presented with a weird dilemma because there ain't nothing in the Bible about what the fuck to do.
Right.
If there's a
and I'm going to tell you, like I said,
that,
I have personal, you guys know I have personal near-death experiences. You're going to, I don't piss everybody off right now. Twitter's going to go nuts when I say that. Okay. You're all going to be disappointed. That was what I'm saying. But there is going to be, like Kaz says, is that when Yoda shows up? No, dude, I'm telling you, I've had several body traumatic events. I had several in my life, and a lot of those times where I have been flatlined, there was no fucking, there's no light in the tunnel, there's no voices, there's no hand coming out, there's nothing, it's darkness. There's nothing that where you can, You know, and I don't know if it's just me. I don't know, maybe should I just get some Jesus chips and freaking go to church after that, drink some wine and all that, whatever, repent, whatever you want to call it, pray to whatever deity that I think I should believe in at the time. But I'm telling you, it places, and then of course you start going into the different beliefs of aliens. You start going to believe, your mind just starts racing, right? So when I've had those traumatic events happening, and I wake up and I see Doc Badness looking at me going, "Oh man, dude, you bounced, and did your dick touch your ass?" You know, and you see that, and you just don't remember. Like, I don't have memories of stuff like that. There was no memory. There was not my deceased father that had his hand out and said, "All right, come on, let's go, my son. We're gonna go." And none of that. There was no. Patrick Swayze didn't come down from a band of light and you know. Yeah, exactly.
Come on, Patrick Swayze.
What's up with that?
Patrick Swayze is gonna take me to St.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I wanted to hear him say Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. Yes, I want to fight
exactly.
people.
You know, that's a good description. Oh, I think, yeah, because Phil, I told him what it was. It was like waking up from a good sleep when I was awakened. And it's like waking up from a good night. I felt like I had rested. And you know,
that's interesting because I've had one, and I had a slightly. It wasn't like, you know, what they, you know, people make in the movies where it's like, oh, there's a tunnel.
Right.
But I did feel that I wasn't alone in what was going on. I don't want to go too much because, Lord, I've been giving myself away with some folks. But I did have one. It was, you know, I don't believe I never actually passed, but I felt, you know, it was like on the teetering. And I did feel some kind of, to me, I felt some kind of presence. It wasn't a white light. It wasn't Patrick Swayze, you know, at my bedside. But I did feel like I wasn't alone in this matter type thing, which gives me hope for the future. And that, you know, and like I said, worst comes to worst, if I'm wrong, I won't fucking know. So, yeah, I'm okay with that. But, you know, it brings the question with upload. Is it kind of like, would that be like uploading your soul? Like, is your consciousness like what we would call the equivalent of our soul? And if that's the case, so does that give me, you know, access denied from heaven until I unplug from that?
Well, because in some religious beliefs, you do something like that, that's sacrilegious, right? If you do some sort of external stuff.
Well, it depends. Like, if you're Jewish, you can't get tattoos or something like that.
Really?
I don't know, but like, I'd have to like talk to my I might have to go talk to my pastor. Like, hey, watch this show. I know it's rated TV, you know, mature.
Well, I mean,
it's cool, but like, watch the show and tell me what's God's stance on this, just in case.
I like to know what the Lord is about this. About what does the Lord say about using?
Just like a professional opinion. You know, the closest guy who's, you know, I know two really good. Like, I've seen some really shit pastors. I'm sure a lot of people have, and it's probably some of the reasons why people have been turned off religion, that and just the Catholic Church. But I've also had, like, I had two really good pastors, and one of them, you know, married me and my wife, and, you know, and dedicated, you know, my three kids and stuff like that. And I kind of actually think I'm going to send a message and be like, hey, pastor, can you check this out and just what do you think, like, the theological, like,
right, dude?
What would Jesus have on this matter?
Right.
Like, just give me your professional opinion, because that's the
right.
only duality. Like,
what,
on the
is
surface,
there is no.
Fuck yeah! You mean I get to live in like World of Warcraft type of shit and just like and rock and roll my conscience and continue going and stuff like that? I can dig it, but then I'm like, I really don't want it to, like,
right, dude.
You know.
There's no. Is there a commandment?
Fries the server, and then it's like, and St. Peter's like, "Hey, fucker, you're just here like
exactly." Is there?
Years ago,
thou should
access denied. Good luck on that patch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thou shall not use Microsoft Teams. Thou shall not use Zoom. Or thou was it by with come with through me with Zoom. Don't be TikToking your ass up to heaven.
Hey, look, I saw you making those memes. I'm gonna need you to like, stand over there.
Exactly. You're gonna be like, you know, because like I said, I did not at all have freaking, you know.
There's a lot of really good comments in some of the chats, and like David said, you know, he thinks it's more about a question of consciousness, and I get that, and it's weird because it just depends on how you look at it. Is your consciousness, for some people what they would consider their soul. Is it something different? The idea of how technology,
right?
I guess the main purpose of this, before we close up this part of the show, I guess technology is opening the doors to where we have to think about our own morality, regardless of religion, because you don't need religion for morality, because Lord, there's a lot of people who are in the church and do shitty fucking things. But it does make you wonder what technology has in store for us and how that will change how we operate on our day to day, and even how we can grieve for the loss of a loved one. It's
right.
When we get to the point where you can actually snapshot your brain and upload it into another body if you have like $50,000. Or will we get to the point where you can upload yourself into a virtual reality afterlife, or are we just fucking is it when you're dead, you're dead?
Yeah, well, like I said, yeah, not
cool
to
how technology's changing shit.
Not to there's some people that are, I guess there's going to be a big thing coming about what happened there, only because there's some Ferris doctrine stuff about what happened to me. When it's finally discussed and over with, everyone's going to be able to know what happened, and it's insane. And I'm thinking, how could, like you were saying, but how could you literally, as yourself, being a God-fearing person your whole life, and then all of a sudden experiencing that, then you become whoa. you're like, okay, I'm gonna go home and watch Ghost. And that's not how it happened. It was supposed to be like, oh, there was supposed to be what was that song? There was a song that was being played at the end too, and there was some white light, and Whoopi Goldberg supposed to be holding somebody or something like that. Yeah, dude, it's just freaking. I didn't, like I said, that type of dilemma. But I'm always into tech anyway, so I'm that kind of person. I love tech as it is. So an upload, a new, we're gonna do a new brain like RoboCop. Have you saw RoboCop, the new one and the old one, and you saw how Murphy had to deal with being a robot and all this other stuff? Would you like to be like that? You know what I mean? Would you like to be like RoboCop? But anyways, yeah, we're gonna take a break. This is a pretty good subject. God, I don't know how we got on this end. What are we talking about?
I know we just started from 5 years since we've been hacked to
yeah.
Well, I think it's because we started talking about life and death.
Yeah.
When we got to Stiller, Little Richard, Betty White.
Yeah, exactly. Mortality.
Upload.
Yeah. Upload, exactly. Yeah, well, exactly that. Heath, we should talk. See, do you get to pick your subconscious? What if you were like whatever? So.
Phil says it was cold and boring. Would not recommend 0 stars.
I have to go pay. Anyways, all right, we'll be right back. Shouts.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
Nothing feels the same. Left it all behind. Take a look inside your life. Is it so bad? Is this where you draw the line? 'Cause it's so sad. Tell me where you lost your faith. Is it so bad? Couldn't see it in your face. And it's so sad. I'll wait until you come back. Come back down to me. I'll wait until you come down. Come back down. Why you keep it in your head? Is it so bad? Never heard a word you say it, and it's so sad. Tell me when you lost your way, 'cause it's so bad. I'll see you when I pray, and it's so sad. I'll wait until you come back down to me. I'll wait until you come back down to me. I'll wait until you come back down to me. I'll wait until you come back down. Is it what you want? Is it what you need now? Is it what you breathe? Is it what you're bleeding now? Is it what you feel? Is it what you're feeling now? Is it what you wanted? I'll wait until you come back down to me. I'll wait until you come back down to me. I'll wait until you come back down to me. I'll wait until you come back down. Hello, you. Will you come back down to me? Hello, you. Will you come back down? Hello, you. Won't you come back down to me? Hello, you.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
And we're back. Part 2 of the Monday edition. Recovering from that interesting conversation. AI, digitizing, consciousness, subliminal stuff. Oh, David was already saying he's all IT, AV, and all things electronics. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Practically a robot now, anyway.
I was about to say, yeah. Like I said, I don't mind. I know everyone's gonna get wrapped around the axle when we talk about all the ethics and stuff like that. But I'm just thinking, man, it's a fascinating subject, dude. It's just one of those things to where you're just kind of like, man, it's pretty. I don't know. That's pretty.
I hate that I'm getting face coverings as the advertisements when I look at news channels.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Fuck these real cool deals.
Oh, I know everyone.
Yeah, douchebags. It even makes sense. Let me click on it.
Man, I'm about to say, yeah. What's even
realcooldeals.com.
Yeah, for what's
Nose and mouth protector K9.95. Protect from germs. $32.99. Save $1 same day shipping. They come in red, gray, and blue. Quantity 1, 2, 3. Buy 4 and get 1 free. Buy 7, get 3 free. Best value 20, 40, 50. Buy 100 and get 40 free. Epic value. Fuck you guys.
Did you guys ever think? Did you ever think at all that we were ever going to get to the point now where we're literally bickering about wearing masks and not wearing masks and people wearing masks, and now masks?
Some states are opening up and people are losing their minds. Some states aren't opening up and people are losing
their minds. Yeah, it's freaking insane how everyone's got like. There's states on the West Coast, there's the Midwest, and there's the East Coast, the North and the South. Everyone is literally losing their shit about exactly about who's right in all of this coronavirus stuff, man. I'll be honest, it's getting fucking tiring right now. It is tiring because now nobody knows who of sourcing of what. Nobody knows who to talk to. Who are the ones to talk to? And I'm not going to get into the back and forth of it's like the flu and 0.2 mortality.
I hate that argument.
Yeah, I'm not even going to go into that.
Well, this isn't worse than the flu.
I'm not even going to. Yeah,
I'm not about that.
I'm not even getting into the. Yeah,
we have a flu shot at least. We don't have a corona shot. At least give it. Fucking ass.
Right, dude.
If you've watched Plandemic on YouTube and you want to argue that point. Don't call us. Fuck off. Because
I'll be honest with you. I've not seen it. That's another thing too.
I watched the beginning of it and I went, "You're right." All these other doctors and everybody from all these different researchers from across the world. But I'm gonna hang my doctorate on a YouTube doctor. Okay,
bro. When the guy who was once
go ahead, call me a sheeple.
No, I'm just saying there's a guy on there that everyone's talking about that was the man that was the leading authority of all this infectious disease stuff. Dr. Fauci. Everyone's talking about him. He just came and they were showing. There's now another video of him saying, "Y'all don't need to be masked up, right? You know that, right? You only have to be masked up if you're really close to each other, but you don't have to be masked up all the time. Like you don't have to be masked up to drive your car." It's getting to the point where now people are looking at you people are looking at you side eye. They give you the Forrest Whitaker eye if you're not wearing a mask in the freaking in your car. It's almost like the smoking thing. Now you know how people really look down on people who smoke. Oh, smokers. Oh, you smoke in your car with your kids. Oh, you smoke. I get that. But now if you have a kid in the car and you're not masked up or whatever, people are literally getting just like mad. I mean, like getting the holy crap of the 4 million cases right now of active cases. There's only been like 85,000, something like that. 248,000, yeah, 285,000 deaths.
1,355,155 U.S. cases.
Right, cases.
With something.
We're not talking about
cases, yeah.
We're not talking about deaths. Like I said,
deaths are still 80,000.
You saw what I posted on my timeline, man. This is pissed off. I wanted fucking zombies. I
did see that. Right now, our current deaths in the U.S. are 81,357 as of a couple of hours ago.
Right, dude.
And they're seeing spikes in the heartland now. So, yes, New York got it. Has the worst. They're currently with 348,000 new cases and 27,000 deaths. Texas, 39,000 cases with 1,000 deaths. 2,700 deaths and 68,000 cases confirmed in California. Washington State got hit hard. Virginia, 25,000 cases, 850 deaths. Michigan, 47,000 confirmed cases and almost 5,000 deaths.
Right, but you notice, there's other ones with 15,000 cases, but like 2 deaths. But they're not. The numbers are now being attributed to other stuff.
Wyoming has 669 cases with 7 deaths.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about the big ones.
Montana with less than 500 cases and 16 deaths. Here's one. North Dakota has 36 deaths and 1,500 cases. Let's see what's the least out of everybody. Guam has 151 cases. Puerto Rico has 25.
Was that the Theodore Roosevelt cases mixed in there? Because the way they're doing the numbers now, they're all getting stupid about how they're doing the numbers.
West Virginia, which held out for the longest time, has had 54 deaths and almost 1,400 cases. 200. I think Wyoming, in the continental U.S., has had the. Oh, wait. Is Vermont? Come on, Vermont.
Vermont
53
had
deaths.
53 deaths. Yeah, but that's you're looking at the CDC website too. Yeah, so Vermont has had 53 deaths in the cases in itself, dude.
It pretty much goes the worst: New York, New Jersey, Illinois,
Right.
Massachusetts, California, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Florida would make it. And then Texas, Georgia, Connecticut, which Georgia's relaxing their stuff. Virginia's relaxing their stuff. Maryland, Louisiana,
Recruiter Times-
Ohio, Indiana, Colorado, Washington.
Recruiter
Tennessee.
Times asked, "There's 1,800 people in South Dakota." Right?
Yeah, man. South Dakota's got 3,600 cases. That's about 2,000 away from the max of this whole damn state.
Right. Well, it was funny is because originally Georgia,
North Dakota is practically half Canadian. So.
Georgia had like a moderate amount of cases, and then they went green, or they went open. What was it, last Friday? And they had a spike. So they went from like, what was it, 30 or 40 something cases now to 20 something cases.
Samoa's had no cases, and they've also had no deaths because they locked that shit down. Northern Mariana Islands has 19 cases and 2 deaths. The U.S. Virgin Islands, 69 cases and 5 deaths. Guam, 151 cases and 5 deaths. Alaska is 381 cases and 10 deaths. Montana is the least, 459 cases and 16 deaths in the continental U.S.
Yeah, there's
one is too many. It's sad.
No, it is. Casa, yeah, see, Texas is open. That's what I'm saying. Texas had the same amount of cases confirmed. Georgia had originally, they had like some sort of, I don't know, they had like 19,000 cases or something like that. Then they opened up and they spiked up to like another 20,000 cases. Now they got like 34,000 cases and 1,400 deaths. Texas had 39,000 cases, and I'm just like rounding. I'm just not even going to the each is 39,869 cases and 1,100 deaths. Like you said, exactly that, cause like you said before. However, 21,000. See, Texas is the only one that's reporting recovered numbers. That's what I don't get. How come the other ones? Oh, Maryland too. Let me see. There's other states too that report it. So right now, let me see. The ones that have reported actual recovered numbers, and this is according to the CDC. That's the information that I'm getting it from. The recovered cases, meaning these are the people that got it, cased, and all this other stuff. 21,713 out of Texas, 2,298 out of Maryland. Tennessee's got 8,038 cases, and then 5,249 out of Iowa, 7,536, and what is that? Minnesota, and then 26. So there are some states that are reporting recovered cases. I don't understand how come the other ones aren't doing it. I don't. But what's the dealio on that? I mean, I know well, actually, I could tell you why, because they're all fucking being drama queens about everything. But what I'm looking at is that the cases doesn't matter. It doesn't look like the cases that were locked down as opposed to the ones that were open changed. Does that make sense? Like everyone did the right thing. Some states did and some states didn't. And that was it. South Carolina didn't close down their state, but they had one of the lowest fatalities. And that was 346. And that's 74. They had 7,446 cases. They didn't shut down They didn't shut down everything. Only certain counties did. They didn't shut down the whole state. As opposed to Pineland, freaking North Carolina, did a lockdown and they had 14,000 cases. So it really is one of those things to where, and now we're talking back and forth about, well, when's the, you know what? It just hit me. Do you remember, man, Flash, we were talking about this. Do you remember back in the day when all this stuff started happening? And there was a text message that went out to certain people. And this text message said what? The president is going to consider locking down the country. Didn't he? Remember that?
People started losing their minds.
And people started losing their minds,
from
right?
The start. They're like, you can't shut the country from all sides.
And everybody said, you got played. That was a hoax. That's a hoax text. That hoax, that's no such thing. The government will never get closed down. There's no such thing there's no way that's going to happen. There were people debunking that text that actually happened. I mean, I look back at the text, I'm thinking, you know what? They really did lock down the country, didn't they? Didn't they lock down the country or try to lock down the country? Left it up to the governors.
We've been practically locked down. Hey, I do want to mention that I know people were fearing for a recession, and some people saying we're in. It is nice that we're on an uptick still. Like, the last couple, today, we're in the 24,000s. I mean, granted, not even February 21st, we were nearly at February 12th, we were at a peak of almost hitting 30,000 for the Dow Industrial Average. So we're building back up. I mean, our low back in March 23rd was 18.5. So I mean, it's crazy.
Well,
all this good stuff for an election year. This will be fucking awesome.
Dude, this is gonna be all this. I know there's gonna be so much juicy information about it because like a lot of the information about people talking about how there's a food shortage, but farmers are now saying no, there isn't. There's people telling us not to process the food. Who are the people?
My mother-in-law argued, was like, there's a meat shortage. I'm like, there's not a meat shortage. It's just we're not going to kill they're not going to kill the damn cows and pigs and shit if there's no one to eat them.
I bet you.
There's been a bunch of people who actually there's plants that open. There's actually Tyson,
right,
which we know them to be a lot of the chicken providers.
Yes.
There's several plants that have actually had people walk off the job because they felt that their health and sanitation was not up to snuff when dealing with this kind of condition of coronavirus and stuff like that. I mean, the chickens are going to be chickens. The chicken farmers are still like, all right, cool, I'm just going to feed them a little bit longer. There's going to be a little fatter. Right. Cool. The cows are going to survive, and lots of places. I think it's Kroger. It's a if you're from the north, you might not know what a Kroger is, but Kroger is a nice restaurant, kind of like Albertsons or Piggly Wiggly down the south.
Right.
They've actually been buying milk and eggs and actually giving it to food banks.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yep. As a matter of fact,
tax write-off right there.
I was about to say, as a matter of fact, those farmers that do that should be getting the mad stimulus. They're the ones that should be getting that mad stimulus. They're the ones,
not these churches that
right.
took stimulus money.
Oh my
not
God,
these big
dude!
Restaurants like Ruth's Chris taking stimulus money.
Yeah.
But hey, what do I know?
Well, because the Lord said you need to take that stimulus. What was the percentage of what? Oh, recovered.
See, I tell people all the time. I said, that's why I don't put my stock in religion. I love that line from Kingdom of Heaven where he says, "I put no stock in religion." And I heard that. I was like, I love that because religion is fucking crooked. The faith isn't. It's the people who decide to put it.
Right.
These churches. There's great churches out there. Trust me, there's great churches. But there's some that make it just like the one rotten apple fucks everything up.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna get
the same
DM'd.
thing. These churches are taking these loans, but they don't really need it because they already don't pay taxes and stuff like that. And hell, you can most of these services are online, and you can still donate through Venmo if you want to do your tithing and whatnot, tithes. But and then you have these big ass restaurant chains and shit like that. They're pulling stimulus money, but it's hard. But we ran out of money to give to the fucking little guys and these farmers and actual fucking people who need it.
They should be the first ones. Exactly that. The recovery rate in Texas, for those of you that were asking.
I mean, who approved these fucking? You're like, hey, we're approving these things. Who's the person? Ruth Chris looking for stimulus money. Yeah, sure. Fuck those guys. They make enough money to float them for a month or two.
So for 54%. Recovered of the cases of the 21,000. So 54% recovered. There you go. And the fatalities were 2.76% for those asking. But you're right. I don't get how everyone is talking about the shortages for that type of amount of food. I get maybe it's. Did we not? Is it like an epic troll that the president's doing on the country, or this is really showing that all those individuals that were talking shit about the president and talking about how he was running the country and how he should let the states do their own stuff, the states are now showing their own inept procedure, like they're just being incompetent in the way they implement some of their controls and procedures for how they're running stuff. Because I don't know who's got the gold standard for running the for doing the best of the, I don't know who's the best containment. I mean, you always see what's his name, Cuomo, right? So
Cuomo's just the most. Honestly, I mean, hell, New York City just blew up. It's funny because House Speaker Nancy Pelosi came out and is actually pissed off that the task force hasn't come out with this is what the standard is for opening up your state. And I was talking with one person. They're like, "This is ridiculous." So I'm like, why? I said the states are different. I said we have different powers between the states and the federal government. So if a state feels their situation is different, but I also see the federal guidelines going, hey, here are the minimums that you guys should really be hitting if you're trying to like get everything going. But we're getting to the point where all those promised stimulus checks seem to be not coming. The Republicans don't want to deal more money, and the Democrats just aren't pushing it unless it's like, oh, we have a stimulus bill that's on the House, but no one's actually trying to push it because everyone's fucking on vacation.
Well, starving. Yeah, right. Exactly. No, Michael's got a point. The POTUS did say he was going to leave the reopening of the country to the governors. The governors are going to be given that.
Where I honestly think it belongs.
Right, exactly. So and David says, well, states' right, exactly. And wasn't there like a civil war or something like that? The losers were saying that it's about states' rights and all this other stuff. But my point exactly. David's got a good point too. Depends on what your view of the role of the government is. Some individuals expect the government to have so much. And I'll be honest with you, I look at how people are looked at now. Like mailmen, like food delivery, processing, like construction work, the guys who run utilities, power and stuff. You not do this whole thing. It's not happened. I've not had a lost internet.
I have yet to lose internet, power,
water, everything's good to go. I've not yet seen anything. So those individuals that manage those utilities, hats off to them. However, once everything starts picking up, all you individuals that are in construction that were shit talking, you better have them fucking highways fixed. Because I'll tell you what, some of you guys,
I don't understand why 95 still hasn't been fixed, finished yet.
Right,
there's nobody on the road. Hell, I had to drive up 95 at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and there was nobody on the road going north or south. And I'm like, why isn't like everyone like I've been like, I will pay all of you double time if you will get on the fucking construction site and start rocking and rolling while there's no
They're supposed
traffic.
to, bro. They're supposed to be. They were. That's why they were called essential employees. Individuals.
Well, I've been making. Hey, I'm not preaching anyone, but I've been making sure that anyone who's had to come to my house to delivery, whether it's the Amazon guy and gal, who my son knows mostly by face, not by name. I've been making sure to be like, I appreciate the hell out of you, thank you. And the folks that have had to deliver stuff to me, I've been giving like an extra 5% on the tip.
Dude,
I appreciate that you're at least being, still getting out there without being all like.
And that's a good.
Hell, we had the pizza guy that literally like they placed it on our thing, and then they were like. They stepped back and like,
they called it was like, yeah.
Can you sign this receipt? Just leave it there.
Just leave it there. Yeah, I had the same one too.
What do you want me to do? Blow it?
But they call like EOD. You got to call EOD instead of the pizza. No, but you're right. I've kind of noticing too. I've had a little bit more savings having food delivered. How like if I had some, because I still have. I gotta have my B-dubs. I gotta have my B-dubs, man. So I have my B-dubs delivered, and I'll tell you what, it's cheaper. However, due to the fact that it's cheaper that I buy in the restaurant, that's actually been able to give them a bigger tip. For that, exactly like what you said, Flash. They're providing that kind of service. That's hazardous duty going out there and handling my wings. And then a lot of people get mad about that. That's not essential. That's you don't need to have that. I'm thinking, why can't we say that's somebody who's delivering food? What if there's somebody who's disabled? And I was gonna argue with somebody, and then somebody brought up a good point. There are individuals, due to the fact that there are certain things that are considered non-essential and essential, there are home care providers that can't go and can't leave and go take care of individuals. So they show on freaking Microsoft Teams or Zoom the people that they care for how to order food online. I thought that was pretty cool. So that these care providers that have had hours cut due to the fact that it was either the VA, the government, or the state can't. They actually go on to these disabled veterans or go on. I mean, not disabled veterans, but people with disabilities, and they can't go grocery shopping. They're like, hey, you just give me a call. I can't get food. Hey, I could do this. They'll drop groceries off. So I'll be honest with you. This kind of is giving me a little different, a point of different light to what I consider essential. Again, not one time have they missed my freaking barbecue for my fucking chicken nuggets with a kid. Not one time. Not one time. But again, like you were saying, about if you want to be considered essential personnel, then all those construction jobs that were scheduled to be done What was that? Scheduled to be completed in summer of 2020. They should be damn well being done. I mean, just about done. All those construction jobs, all of them. Building renovations, park renovations, highway repairs, pothole. They should be running them up. They should have a lot. As a matter of fact, that would be a good program to sit back and see just what exactly you need in your company. And you're like, I don't think I need you. But what did you? It was like the Bobs on freaking Office Space. Tell me exactly what you do here, because it's done for the Army, right? Isn't that what you do for the Army? Because you do stuff, you do government stuff. Isn't that the same way you're finding out?
Government stuff. I tell you what, people are definitely saying who's damn useful and who's really not. And we've in my own particular office, without giving too much away, we've actually seen how much more we need and how this is all going to keep affecting us. It's pretty crazy how our role of not having to be in an office is going to change. I think for a lot of people who are going to demand more telework options, not just in government positions and stuff like that, but I see more teleworking within privatized the private sector, because maybe I don't need to be. I know for my job, I don't need to be in the office any day of the week.
Right.
Like I'm 100% effective, and I can sit in my own office or on my couch. Hell, I think one day I worked half the day in my bed, just kind of sat up and dog laying across my lap, and I just kept working. I didn't really need much because thanks to all these different meeting webs, Zoom, WebEx, MS Teams. I mean, there's tons of things to do. Don't use Zoom if you're government, though. That's a bad thing. Learn that. I mean, there's. I mean, it's changed the way we do everything. So it's. But I do love the essential people who are out there, because all of them are just happy to be working.
Right.
Even though I had my sister. She works for Domino's. She's like, I think Domino's should close down and this thing. I'm like, okay, because you don't want a job or you want employment. Like,
well,
I get you, but
I'd
be happy to have a job.
But that's a good point too. When you think about it, do you think does this raise a greater awareness for individuals to have this? This is a good this right here is a good example of raising the minimum wage or having a livable wage. Because I know what's going to happen when everything opens up. We're going to hit a boom of big, large incomes. Like people are going to be crowded. I mean, think about it. Just a mad dash. It's going to be worse than Black Monday and Cyber Tuesday, or Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Is that what they call it? It's going to be big. As soon as everybody starts coming back, people are going to be moving. People are going to be, the Army is going to be rocking and rolling again. And then there's going to be, all these businesses are open up. Contractors are going to get involved. Everything's going to spike like crazy. Now, do you think that you should now look at fast food workers or construction workers a little bit different? Truck drivers, especially bus drivers and stuff like that, and city bus drivers. Do you now think that when they have a reason to complain about having a larger rate, do you think it's valid? Just right with us right now?
Yes and no. Yes, because they when we're calling people who work at Buffalo Wild Wings and are working at these barbecue joints, working at Taco Bell and stuff like that, they're essential, and because they're still pushing out food. Because not everyone can get to the grocery store and stuff like that, and people who work at the grocery store and stuff like that. And then on the other hand, a lot of these jobs, while they're essential, are still minimal skill, and I don't mean that as a derogatory thing at all. But like if you're working at Taco Bell, as long as you remember how to put together chalupa, you got a job. Same thing if you can push carts and bag and ring up people. There's lots of other essential jobs out there who aren't going to get a raise, even though they make more money in their essential jobs. Maybe more essential and maybe not in the food service and stuff like that. So you can't. It's kind of hard to say. Well, we got these group of essential people that are are they more important than these group of essential people? But maybe these guys are more important, like the police officers that are essential people, and we're not going to talk about giving them raises. I do think, because I don't want people I do think that the minimum wage is too low. I think $15 an hour is a fucking outrage. But I also think some states are at like $7, which what? So I do think that lots of states need, and the federal minimum wage needs to adjust. But I think people calling for $15 an hour, yeah, I don't know what planet you live on, but if you flip burgers, which hell, if you depending on which McDonald's you go to, you don't even have, you just have to make the food. You don't have to take the orders anymore because it's being done for you. Thanks to all this online stuff. So, I mean, I do think the minimum wage needs to go up, but it's an interesting conversation because people say, well, we're essential. It's like, yes, but you still are just flipping, making tacos. Like you're not like essential, like, because does that mean everyone who's essential needs to get like a 15% bonus, like, or a raise, like the police officers and the fire departments, like they're essential too. These security guards that are out in some of these high risk places, they're essential too. People who have to still be in the Pentagon, they're essential too. Where do we draw the line of who gets a raise and who doesn't? The minimum wage is a hot topic, and I understand that, but
I don't know. I could definitely see that. I can see where you're.
I can see this being a case to raise the minimum wage to a more suitable living.
I can see that.
It's not supposed to be.
I can see that.
I can work at McDonald's and afford to live in a 5-bedroom house, but it is, I think that it's still too low.
I think already the salaries for police officers, first responder personnel, the teachers, they should get already a larger, because I'll be honest with you, isn't this kind of like outside their scope to do all this teleschooling stuff, this homeschooling shit?
A lot of teachers were doing teleschool stuff. My oldest daughter, she was doing her Cantonese homework. Yeah, I don't understand why she's studying Chinese, but she's studying it because might as well. But she, her teacher, she was in a Zoom type classroom or Blackboard classroom or something, still doing adjusting to these weird ass circumstances. But
if you look at some of the scope, but if you look at some of the scope of some IT instructors and all that, they get paid a good amount of money, not only from their knowledge that they teach, but the method of how they teach it. So I don't understand why teachers, by the method that they teach, is an additional skill for IT instructors and the knowledge that they have. If they're a fucking math teacher or something like that, why wouldn't they not get more money for that? I mean, obviously you can't went to freaking.
I'll put it this way. I would rather see, while still raising minimum wage, I'd rather see the teachers who are vastly underpaid get a bigger increase than fast food and fast food workers.
Right.
To be honest.
Yeah, Spanky's got a good point, and exactly that's what we're talking
about.
On
Facebook, Twitter, Mixer, and everywhere else.
People working at McDonald's should not be making more than a teacher aide or an EMT. That's right. Perfect point. That's a perfect point. But exactly that, because those are entry-level positions. That's what the minimum wage is for. The minimum wage is for entry-level, for you to get promoted. And that's the whole competition. Like Kaz said, everyone's job is essential, but you still have to have a tiered. I think you have to have tiered ranking. You have to have individuals that come in. You just don't give the person the largest salary, brand new, no matter what, if they just came in. Unless whatever they come up with something that's. I even think that there's even still. Some of the seniority and some of the experience that you have in your shop already cannot be. You just can't automatically say, okay, well, sorry, so and so. Even though you've been here for a while, but this new person came in because they're now the way this pandemic's happened. I think they should come in now with a larger check than you. That's a no-go. You're right, Tina. Exactly that. That's exactly why they pay more. Exactly. That's another reason why they pay more. Exactly, for the additional schooling, whether it be collegiate or technical. Some IT stuff, believe it or not. I had sat down with someone and instructed a little bit with some of the how we work and how we do some of the stuff on WTF Nation Radio and WTF Moments. It's a pretty good paying gig on the outside when we're not. This is all volunteer stuff. It's a pretty good. It's decent paying gig. Decent. And I think shit. Can we brag about this? We've been like the pioneers of teleworking radio. I mean,
hell yeah.
We've been like, we have our.
I've been teaching how some of the same people have been coming up to me and asked like, hey, we're trying to do this town hall how we're trying to do this. How can we do these multiple sources into one stream? I'm like, let me tell you.
Right. Exactly that, Spanky. I've worked for the McDonald's militia. I know. Yeah, exactly. I've done the same thing. I've had units that have called me up and say, hey, how do you do this and how do you do that? And then I just give them a call. Now that right there, that type of on-site support, that's extra pain. That's extra pain. I don't really see though how. I really don't see how now the argument will also be like opening a Pandora's box to make it worse. Because then you'll have people like AOC flip the fuck out and say, see, now these individuals are important. See. I heard it on WTF Nation Radio when Ice and Flash were talking. See, they should get a raise. No, that's not what we meant. That'll give her argument aside some creds. Solidify her argument to saying that that's why we need to have a larger, some people need to have more money. Maybe it's because she was a bartender or something like that. I mean, maybe it's a bad example, but because I know, hey, you know what? Speaking of which, we're all those fucking truck ranters. You notice there's been a down. I will say this about this pandemic. There's hardly been any truck. I haven't seen anybody yell in a truck in a long time. I've seen more cops have rants than freaking dudes wearing freaking, Mossy Oak hats, freaking talking shit in a camera in a truck. I haven't seen anybody like rant in a truck. Have you noticed that? Do you notice that? There's hardly. Where are you angry vets at? I haven't seen you guys. You hate vets and. I have not seen any. Have you seen? I'm actually gonna look.
Like a bunch of rubber chickens out there.
I've not. No, for real. I have not seen that. I've not seen. There's been a downtrend. There's been a downtrend in truck ranters in this pandemic.
Been less I think sometimes I think those are just kind of fads. Everyone's on a truck rant and now everyone's not. I think this, people are just like back and forth of what they want to be pissy at. But
right.
I do want to, since we're getting close to the end of the show, I do want to go over a couple of things.
Go for it. I knew you were going to
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, sports.
There you go. I knew you were going to say it.
Back this weekend. Yes. Not what you would think. Usually, it's in May. We're looking at, we're going to be in the heat, in the meat of the baseball season. We'd have NHL and NBA playoffs going down right now. We don't have any of that right now. But what we did have was a empty arena for the UFC 249. Yes, it was the strangest thing I have ever witnessed in my adult life watching sports, and I've seen quite a lot. We watched, my wife and I actually my kids, my son and my daughter were doing kung fu moves and stuff. And my daughter came up to me as we were watching these two females, fight in the preliminaries. Carla Esparza and Michelle Watterson go for a split decision. That was actually a good fight. And my daughter watching these two females beat the hell out of each other. And she goes, "Daddy, I want to fight girls too." And I went, shit. Okay. But it was a different experience. The only people in the stadiums or in the arena were a couple people. I'm sure they had a reason to be there, but very few people in seats around. There was the people who were actually in their corners like they're supposed to be, and then the announcers. They disinfected the mat and everything after every bout. But it was so eerily quiet. And I told my wife, it reminds me of when, if you ever watched The Ultimate Fighter, it's kind of like, the UFC's reality show to find the next, top fighter type thing. And when they do their fights in the gym, there's no crowd. There's the people who are there, who are training with them, who cheer them on. There was even less of that here. But I tell you what, you could hear every single punch, kick, groan, everything. Like the punches sounded so much worse when you didn't have the deafening noise of the crowd, cheering or booing or something. There was some pretty good fights. There was, in the preliminaries, there was Aleskis Onlik and Fabricio Verdum. They were the heavyweight. That was a heavyweight fight. That was a split decision. There's a lot of split decisions in the preliminaries. Donald Cerrone, who got his ass whooped by McGregor in the first round in the last big UFC bout, in a grudge match, went against Anthony Pettis, who won in a unanimous decision. There's a couple of good ones.
Yeah.
Actually, in the early preliminary, there was one to note. It was Bryce Mitchell versus Charles Rosa. That was ugly, like bloody face and everything. It was a great. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong one. Vincent No, I missed the.
Okay, we're talking about Essential, right? Pay attention, Flash. Go ahead.
Well, there was because I was like unanimous decision. I said that can't be right. I missed that. It's Vincent Luke who was after them, and Nico Price. It was a TKO. This guy's face, the Price's face was like swelled shut. Like, you remember Rocky would cut me, cut me.
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
It was like
yeah.
that, so he cut his whole fucking face. Leading into the, we had leading into the actual pay-per-view. Some okay fights. There's a good TKO of Jeremy Stevens by Calvin Kattar. Henry Cueto defended his bantamweight title against Dominic Cruz, and then immediately announced his retirement right after the UFC, which a lot of people were kind of, it happened right 2 minutes before the end of the second round.
Well, somebody sent me a meme right now. What baseball season is going to look like, because no one's done any PT for a while. So I'm going to share that right now. Share that meme.
So, and I'm going to get to baseball because that's and then the next one was Tony Ferguson. Going against Justin. It's hard saying his last name. Galith. I think that sounds about right. Well, he won with a TKO knockout of Tony Ferguson, and I'll tell you what. McGregor is dying for that fight to fight the champion, but he probably won't get it because I think he's still rated ranked number 3 or number 4. So, but it was a good fight. It was there were good fights both in the preliminaries and in the actual main card. It was a lot of fun. It was just so weird with no fans. I'm like, you had that guy, I can't remember his name, the announcer, I wonder how much he gets paid to be there, but he's fucking like announcing. I'm like, who are you announcing to? Why can't you just be like, hey guys,
just pull it off to the side. Right, just pull
this
it.
corner we got Justin. This corner we got Tony.
I noticed that he could have just. You're talking about Dana White, right? Is that who it was?
The announcer's like fighting.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah, exactly. They should
I never remember his name.
They should just have a voiceover.
Why is he still there?
They should just have a voiceover. Yeah, at that point they should have. Somebody. David brought up a good point. Back to VR technology. Sports in VR now.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, hell, we might need to do that because switching gears. Sources say owners have approved the MLB season proposal plan for July starts as players union prep to weigh in. It's looking like, and a lot of players are looking forward, the Major League Baseball owners have approved a proposal by the commissioner, Rob Manfred, whose plans to present the players on Tuesday, so fingers crossed, a return to play scenario that aims to have baseball back in home stadiums by early July, sources familiar say. The meeting between MLB and the MLB Player Association on Tuesday will set the stage for what both parties expect will be a contentious negotiation because, the union is going to protect the players, and that's, very important over money. I'm 100% with the Players Association. While the MLB could benefit long-term from being the first American sports team to return amid the pandemic, the logistics of starting the season remains convoluted, and it needs a lot of player support, to be honest. Money's at the heart of the return. Sources said owners fearful of deep financial losses with a fan-free stadiums agreed in a conference call on Monday afternoon.
You mean they're saying they need the fans? They're saying that actually they need the fans. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they need the fans. Hey, maybe don't make your tickets so fucking expensive.
Right.
I'm looking at you, Yankees. Like, I love you guys.
Knicks suck, Mets suck, Yankees suck. But go ahead.
Say what you want. Because MLB is a lone uncapped team sport in the United States, never has a straight revenue split between part of the game. Has never been a part of the game's finances. The MLBPA is almost certain to reject that element of the proposal and counter that a March agreement between the parties guaranteed players a prorated portion of their salaries depending on the number of games that actually played. The ability of a strike, a financial deal, could mean the difference between baseball season and one that's just completely canceled, which would fucking devastate me.
Why? I mean, since there are other sports they're going to cancel anyways. I mean,
hell, by the time this thing could finish in like August, they'll be ready for football season.
Right. Well,
concerns about the league's handling of testing and ensuring a safe working environment, as safe as possible, will still going to be an issue. There's many lot of basketball training locations have started opening up more so, and in some baseball places have opened up too, mostly for people who are rehabbing injuries. They're kind of getting like the first dibs because they need more of this. Like the Washington Nationals pitcher Sean Doolittle took to social media on Monday to set that table as the sides are negotiating. The league will continue to seek approval from government entities and support from the medical community for a possible return. I mean, honestly, what they're looking, I mean, among other vital points besides the money, this is what this is included in the proposal. Expansion of the playoffs teams from 10 to 14, which I don't like. I'm going to be honest. A 82-game season, I guess. Some seasons better than no season. The use of home stadiums in areas that have local and state government approval. A so-called spring training 2.0 that begins in June with a season set for early July. A universal designated hitter. That's interesting. Geographical schedules in which teams play only in-division opponents and interleague opponents in a similar area. If, for example, American League Central teams play only American League Central and National League Central teams. So the Mets and the Yankees would play quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
you get my drift. Like the teams that are like Baltimore and the Washington Nationals would probably play a lot more. Like they're trying to keep everything kind of like clustered in, kind of like how they do. How we said for spring training we have the Grapefruit League and the Cactus League.
Didn't they talk about? But they're also talking about cutting the game schedule too, right?
I mean, 82 games.
82 games, yeah.
82 games from 153.
Yeah.
Like I already mentioned the geographical schedules, which it's gonna be just weird. And then a 30-man roster with a taxi squad that would have upwards to 50 players available. The playoff expansion, which has been floated before the corona pandemic hit, would increase revenue as it shrivels in other areas. Teams estimate that upward of 40% of revenue comes from
Is that some sort of performance enhancement joke right there? That shrinkage in other areas?
I mean, it sounds like something from like the Red Sox. I'll tell you what. The season could start on the 4th of July weekend with games around the country in home stadiums. The intra-division heavy schedule would be good to limit travel, with teams possibly traveling by bus to nearby cities. I guess you could travel from bus from New York to Baltimore and stuff like that in DC.
Right.
And New York to Boston. Fuck Boston. Spring training likely will not include any games, as teams could be ready for the season at their home stadiums. The 50 players available would be a mixture of major leaguers and top minor league players, with the minor league season in jeopardy. That would be my hometown has there's a new minor league team that's opening up stadium, and I was super excited, and now it's not happening, which makes me super sad. But I mean, if you're a baseball fan, I think some baseball is better than nothing. Like, would you really count this season? Whoever the World Series winner is are you really going to count it? What happens if there's because baseball's a long fucking season. I'll admit that. It's a long fucking season. But one of the biggest things that many governments are worried about in the United States are the second wave, the inevitable second wave. Soon starts getting cold, and this thing has just been bugging around. All of a sudden, just like flourishes. Is that going to cancel? Because the second wave would possibly, people are predicting like September, October, November. That's baseball playoff season.
Right. But why don't you just cancel it?
That's prime football season.
Right. Well, they cancel all of it. Why don't they just cancel? Why don't they just count their losses and cancel it? I mean, I'll be honest with you. That seems like everyone's giving a shit more about these individuals losing their fucking jobs as opposed to Americans that actually are working losing their jobs, if that makes any sense.
Well, I mean, I wonder if like minor leaguers don't get like minor leaguers that aren't like folks who've gotten when they get brought up to the majors and they get like a minimum contract or whatnot, right, and then they get sent down, they still get that minimum. The folks that are like in like single A or double A get paid shit. I wonder if they're like on unemployment right now, because I mean they're already like sleeping in their cars and stuff like that,
right?
Or like housing and like it's sponsored like there was a flyer going on like, hey, if you're looking to if you're willing to sponsor a baseball player in your home as they play for this minor league team, which I looked at my wife, she goes, hell no. I was like, damn it. I was going to be all for it too. I'll have to wait for my oldest to leave, and I'll totally do that. And like, yeah, guess what? Your room is now going to be the designated hotel for minor league baseball.
So, Ho's about to say that kind of good. Think about it though. It's like, please open up your home for a minor league baseball player. Come on, dude. I mean, some of these baseball clubs already get money anyways, being boosters as they are. So I don't understand why they.
But the teams just the teams make stuff, the owners, but these players still don't get. They get like the minor league basic in it. Anyways, it's not a lot of money too, and they want to get everyone back to work. It's like a season's better than no season. Teams and networks are losing money on advertising for non-baseball. I actually hit up because I always get the MLB TV package. If you are a veteran or a first responder, they do a discount. So I do the single season, which is like $96 for the entire season, excluding playoff games, which kind of sucks. But I think they'll get to that point in the next couple of years, and certain blackout games. So for me, living in the DC metro area, I'm looking at, I can't see if the Yankees play the Nationals or the Orioles, I won't be able to see that. When I lived in Florida, I couldn't actually see them play the Tampa Bay Rays. So that kind of sucks, but I still see about 120 something games a year out of the entire season, and I watch about almost all of them. I hit him up and I was like, "Hey, are you guys doing like a refund or
why are you doing that shit, bro? Come on, man."
Like, man, I only watched I watched a lot of the preseason games, spring training games, and that was great. But I hit him. I was like, just curious, and like, we can, they were like, well, we don't really have information on that, but we can, put you a refund.
But think about it though, dude.
I was like, no, that's cool. You don't,
bro. But think about it though. Are we now looking? I mean, I keep going back to the argument again. Do we care? I mean, you're just asking.
I think yes. Just like in Roman times, you need to entertain the masses and distract them.
Right, but the people, the American people, going to remember this. The American people are going to remember this. They're going to say everybody gave more. They cared more about sports players and housing them and putting them in bed and breakfasts and stuff like that. They were
going to do the housing and stuff regardless of the pandemic. I just want to put that out.
Right. What I'm saying though is that take these, Dave. But my point is that you're actually seeing the big dynamic of the American people going, God, these people. There's individuals that are more worried about what fucking baseball players and football players and basketball players are going to do. But me, they're bitching about me not wearing a mask while I go out and get trying to get food for my family. You know what I mean? It's just like,
because you're a dirty person. That's why. I don't want you to wear a mask either,
you fucking.
I feel like you should be wearing a mask right now, talking to me on the radio. I feel like you're close.
We're socially distanced enough. Damn it! I'd say a few hundred miles is good. No, but again, it's just like Spanky said. What if they cancel the football? What if they cancel it?
Well, it's funny because sports isn't the only thing that's been affected. Universal. AMC pretty much told Universal, "Fuck you guys, we're never going to play your movies again."
Yeah, that's a bunch of bitch shit right there. Because CQ talked about that on his show. That was some fucking bullshit
while
drama.
Other people have like just been pushing off production or pushing off releases, like the Black Widow movie that I'm super excited for, and lots of others, Universal went, "Fuck you guys," and they dropped Trolls straight for renting and stuff like that, and a lot of other places does. So AMC went, "Fuck you guys, we're not gonna play your shit again," which we all know is not true because they're not gonna not get that money. But still, it's funny what sports is still a business, and everyone's trying to get their business up and running. It's just it depends on whether it's a coffee shop on Main Street, Taco Bell in Baltimore, or a fucking baseball team in Texas. Everyone's trying to get their teams going, their organizations rolling because they need the money to keep going. And we were going, the economy was looking great, and now we're kind of like right now because of all this. So I do agree with you as we close out, because I know we got to get to the end because we got to close out. I think when everyone starts opening up, I think it'll be a big boom when those first paychecks come in.
Yeah, dude.
But I hope the government does the right thing. While I don't want a shit ton of like crazy spending, I do believe people need help, and I do believe the average citizen does need a helping hand. And I hope they try to push something through that to give people more help, because not everyone is being able to. Unemployment only goes so far. But we'll see what happens. But
yep. Exactly.
That's sports, but we'll see. You know, UFC, at least UFC's fighting.
Yeah, I'm about to say, at least we got some of that going on.
Hey, you know what? It was great. I sat there. My wife didn't even she didn't say oh, do we have to watch this? She just let me watch it, and I was happy as a clam.
Yeah, I know right now that this whole not spending. I have been able to save money, and be able to play around with the stock market a little bit. And I won some, and I lost some, and I'll be honest with you, this pandemic has allowed me to just kind of sit tight and watch everything. Actually been help me save my money on some of the stuff. So it's kind of whatever. But yeah, exactly that, Spanky. The entire movie industry needs an overhaul, because you're going to really have a competition. I bet you this right here is this whole thing with the movie industry is it's just it has killed the freaking the streaming services has just killed it, because now everyone's pushing their stuff to the streaming services.
Mm-hmm. Disney Plus dropped
all,
Onward, which
yep.
They did better. Yep. Onward did better viewings on the channel than it did in theaters.
Right.
Which is Trolls 2 being a streaming only.
Yep.
We still had to rent it. But streaming only, renting streaming only made more money than the original one did in theaters.
Right.
And there's less overhead because you're not having to pay the movie theaters.
Right. You don't have to pay the movie
or
$15, or you don't have to pay $15 for a fucking little bag of popcorn and the Coke.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, we're gonna knock out some house cleaning. We have we got lined up. We got every Tuesday lined up until freaking the end of the month with CQ with this guest. It's awesome. So tomorrow we're gonna have Quentin Hardy, Air Force veteran. Quentin Hardy is gonna come on and tell CQ how he ended up as a stand-up comic after his Air Force career and what he's got going on in the future. This Thursday, this Thursday is another anniversary.
This Thursday is going to be awesome.
This Thursday is another anniversary with this last Sergeant's time, Brigadier General Milford Beagle and Command Sergeant Major Jeremiah Gann came on to Sergeant's time and shot the shit.
That was an epic show.
That was an awesome show because the legend has it that we were talking about making fun of lieutenants in basic training and how some of the changes are going on within the United States Army Training Center. And General Beagle and Command Sergeant Major Gann heard me and Spanky kind of not really trolling them, but kind of laughing about it. And they said, well, we're going to come on here and explain it. So they came on to Sergeant's time. Well, this time, they're going to come on and talk about some of the measures they've taken about dispersed training environment and how they're operating with COVID-19. This episode of Sergeant's Time is also going to have a show, a beginning excerpt with 60 Minutes and CBS News. So you're going to see the 60 Minutes excerpt beginning of the show Sergeant's Time, and then we're going to go on for a little bit, and then we're going to take a break, and then the bosses, the command team from Fort Jackson Army Training Center is going to come on and shoot the breeze with us. A lot of stuff we're going to talk about in the dispersed training environment, a lot of stuff about new schoolhouse initiatives. I can't wait because we literally go back and forth on a lot of stuff on Twitter anyway, so this will be able to get some good dialogue back and forth, so I can't wait for those guys to come back on. Tuesday is going to be Stephanie Klein on May 19th. Marine Corps veteran Stephanie Klein is DC-based stand-up comic, writer, producer, and contributor for the Duffel Blog. But we're getting some Duffel Blogging people coming in, too. Because I think another guest a couple weeks later is a Duffel Blog contributor. At loose ends after leaving the Marine Corps and dealing with the end of her marriage, Stephanie turned to comedy through a workshop with the Armed Services Artist Partnership. And then Sunday, the 24th of May, is going to be with Kicking It with Cause. Cause and Al are going to have Lorena Tomasini, I think I got that right. She's going to be joining on the show to dispel a myth that when it comes to the end of life planning for benefits with regards to VA, a lot of veterans believe that the VA takes care of everything, and she wants to make sure what they do and do not handle. Ooh, it's like another death subject, right? We're talking about end of life planning. We just talked about that stuff too, I think, a couple weeks ago about that. And then 26 May again on Tuesday with CQ and Pop Culture Warrior. Addison Williams is going to come on. He's the CEO, marketing strategist for 98 to Go. Prior marketing with Agency Environment, Addison oversaw marketing, public relations, and public service messaging within the U.S. Special Operations Command. He's a contributor to the Duffel Blog too, I think. Yeah. So we got some Duffel Bloggers coming on. And all that. But again, this week I'm excited for Sergeant's Time. Brigadier General Milford Beagle Jr. Command Sergeant Major Jeremiah Gann, Command Team U.S. Army Training Center in Fort Jackson, to come and talk about dispersed training. Again, excerpt with 60 Minutes CBS News. Thank you, 60 Minutes CBS News, for that. So you're going to see a little bit. So it's going to be a pretty back and forth dialogue. You guys, gals, got any questions? I think last time we had, I don't think we had enough questions answered from the last time we had them on. So if you are going to join the Army, considering to join the Army, go to GoArmy.com. But you got any questions about basic training and stuff like that? Just go ahead and shoot us some DMs. Hit the inbox. Hit the email at contact@WTFNationRadio.com, and I'm pretty sure we'll get them to the command team to help you out.
Make sure to check these guys out on social media.
Right.
Not only our friends with the Duffel blog that are coming on, but especially with the command team. They're extreme. They're one of those. There's folks that are extremely involved in Twitter, as well as the Fort Jackson Facebook and Twitter page. A lot of great content coming out. It is interesting to see how trainees are how the force is still training entry-level people and how they've adjusted. And even though it's a little weird seeing people with all these face masks on, like we're right. We're Ukrainian or Kosovoan soldiers, like don't want to be noticed and shit like that. But it is interesting, but it's good to see that we're still rocking and rolling.
Yeah, it's awesome. I can't wait. Well, guys, gals, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. And then, we gotta have a closing speech or something like that. Because every time we say, oh, whatever, blah blah blah, I don't know what to say.
Well, I got one. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Flash. This is Captain speaking.
That
Remember,
it?
The pandemic is out there, regardless if you believe it or not. People are dying. You need to remember to do your best to minimize your contamination, your spread, whether you asymptomatic, no symptomatic, or you're in your fucking deathbed. We all have to remember this is a team effort. I know it sucks. I know a lot of us are still unhappy. You want your states open. You think it's a Democratic or Republican conspiracy, or it's a government conspiracy, the Illuminati's out there, or whatever may be your reason for being pissed off. But remember, what you do today is a selfless act. It's one reason why many of you are veterans. Many of you are, listening are active, and it's kind of why we got into this, because, we're a different breed. And guess what? We have to do the selfless thing and stay indoors. Minimize how much we go out until this thing blows over, for your survival and your neighbor's survival and your family member's survival. I know it sucks. We all have to do our part. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you guys for making the right choices most of the time. Try to keep your cocaine and hookers inside your domicile. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and make sure to tune in to WTF Nation Radio and check out WTFNationRadio.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our iTunes for the podcast or on Google Play.
I'm not piggybacking off of that. Y'all have a good night, and Space Force. Shots.
Shots.
Intergalactic horse, and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. They say that they've discovered life up there on Mars. So let's blow it all to hell and then claim it for ours. We'll paint the moon red, white, and blue for no other reason than we wanted to. Oh, Jupiter, imagine what you could become. A stupid, pointless planet turned into a giant gun. And Russia, so sorry, have to burst your bubble. Be a good sport, now sit back, relax, and watch us through the hubble as we celebrate the greatness of the United Planets of America. Space Force, Space Force, we'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Now we'll go to infinity and beyond, beyond. You'll hear our manly voices singing Space Force strong. The critics say sound doesn't travel in space, to which we reply sound will do as we say. Oh, Captain Kirk, your achievements, though notable and fine, as far as we're concerned, this is Deep Space Mine. And big fans, but Lord Vader, step away from the lightsaber. There can only be one, of course. Space Force. Ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum, dum, 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 ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum, dum, 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 dum. Space Force, Space Force, we'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Space
What is this Facebook Live? I've never heard of this shit.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Good evening, boys and girls. This is Tim Kennedy. I'm a Special Forces sniper, a Ranger qualified Green Beret, a UFC fighter. Please listen to us and the shenanigans that we're going to say. We will insult you. There will be racial slurs. We will be sexist. We will offend you. But there will be magic, and a unicorn will be raped. So enjoy the show. Thank you for listening on WTF Nation Radio.
Of community.